Brooke.
You are. And we are live. Hello, everybody. I am back again in just within the few minutes for Chai Together with my one Parlay G biscuit and my coffee. My Chai Together mug. And Kristin does not have her Chai Together mug.
Oh, this is the best I can do right now.
Latte. You got to get out of here. We don't do lattes. Ooh, cappuccino.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So yes, I'm here with my friend, Miss Kristin Brooke, and we are going to soul dive because that's what we usually do.
Oh, goodness.
So, I mean, whatever you're comfortable speaking about, but this is going to be awesome. And we just had Miss Tanika Drake on, and that was real fun, raw, and it boiled my blood at the same time. So, sorry.
Oh,
no. I had to get a second cup of coffee. So, all right. To get my eye.
Oh, no.
All right, Kristin. So tell us about you.
All right. Well, my name is Kristin Brooke, originally from Lansing, Michigan. Graduated from Michigan State University, which is right across the freeway from where I grew up. And I am an author, speaker, entertainer, mother. I have a book that will be coming out soon entitled I Choose Joy, an Overcomer's Guide Through a Secret Journey. And it details my experience of being a sexual assault survivor, aka conqueror, aka warrior. So I'm looking forward to that. It will be also like a self-help journal. There will be a lot of decorated pages in there for people to really dive into the meaning of my journal entries and what I wrote means to them. And on top of that, I've worked on myself in the past year. So I've worked with John Tallarico, Eric Thomas, Les Brown, just Michael Baptiste. Thank you, Prativa. So it's been...
Remember Sydney said, Prativa, we know you excited over there because we said your name. Remember, you're like, Prativa Day, Prativa Day.
Prativa Day.
It's not always about you, Prativa, but you know what? It is. So, if he was watching this, I should tag him. Yeah, go ahead.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Beverly. So yeah, I've worked with Beverly Briggs. We did Real Talk. I was able to mentor with her and develop her story with her and just get her into her comfort zone. So she was outside of the comfort zone of telling her story, and I helped her overcome those challenges. So I work with people. I'm working with people right now to overcome trauma so that they may live the life they deserve and just choose joy. So yeah.
I just want to clap real hard.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. And here's like a little sneak peek of the color of the cover. Close to it.
It's close.
I love it. I love it. So what has been the most challenging part, like within these few months working in the different programs?
Ooh, the challenging part has been not being negative. It's been kind of hard sometimes, to not fall into old paradigms and mindsets and to say, you know what, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep thinking positively. And I can believe that I can do and be all things that I set my mind to and not doubting yourself. So that it's so easy to doubt when that's been your comfort zone for so long. And when you overcome those doubts, you know what I'm talking about. When you overcome those doubts, what you are able to feel when you get to the point of actually accomplishing the things that you set out to do as a goal is just an amazing feeling.
So tell us, is the book your biggest win so far?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So there's an entry in the book that talks about, I hope that this journal will someday impact other people and that what I've gone through isn't for nothing and that I'm able to help someone someday. And I gave it purpose over 10 years ago, actually over almost 12 years ago now. And for that to come full circle and realize that something that I put out in the universe over a decade ago is now becoming a reality because people believed in me is just so powerful. But the most important lesson that I learned is I believed in myself, and I made a decision to do something that I said I was going to do.
Wow. And that's the overcoming of doubt and everything you said. It's like you want to shake, right? You're like shaky when you say it's like, I did it.
Yes. And it's like,
Aww.
goodness, I did it. Why didn't I do it sooner? So that's the lesson that I learned is like, take action on the things that you want to do and do it quickly.
Wow.
In 2020, we all learned like life is not guaranteed. You know, I've learned those lessons through death of loved ones, you know, and nothing hit me as hard though as the pandemic. You know, not that people that I know died, but just hearing of all of the death throughout the world that, you know, no time is guaranteed. And I knew that, but it made it real. Like, okay, death could come for you or the person next to you. It's happening all around you. People are getting sick. But how are you going to motivate yourself through this? How are you going to survive and thrive through this anyway? What can you be doing right now while you're not working to make an impact on the world, in your life, for your children? And that's when I decided I was going to do power voice training with Les Brown. And it's never been the same. In a great way.
I know. I really like that. That's how we met.
Yes.
Do you want to share your story from the beginning?
Sure. So you mean like the sexual assault?
Yeah, the sexual assault, you know, how your family, friends, losses, all of it.
Gosh, okay, there's so much. So
yeah.
From the beginning. Okay, if I go to the beginning is that my biological father was not active in my life when I was a little girl. And, you know, I hear stories from his side of the family that says, oh, he wanted to be in your life. And, you know, the reality of all of that is he wasn't on my doorstep. I didn't receive birthday cards. He wasn't an active role. And then you skip forward to when I was 6, and my mom met my stepdad, and they had my sister, my first sister, when I was 7, and had 5 siblings. So I grew up in a rather large household, and you know, I love my siblings. But the one thing that always bothered me was I was the only one with a different last name. So when I was 15, I was adopted by my stepdad. They always told me that I was going to have to wait for that to be my decision and not something that they put on me. So I decided at 15, I wanted my license to be the same as all of my family members, and he adopted me. Looking back, you know, I'm so grateful for that, but at the same time, his mother was not kind to me, not kind to my mom. And, you know, there were a lot of times growing up where I didn't feel like I was even treated the same as the rest of my family members. So now, fast forward to adulthood, I'm not treated fairly by my stepfather that adopted me. But that's just a facet of who I am. I got married at a young age. Actually, I was 20. Got divorced at 21 because I was in an emotionally abusive relationship with my husband. And I have not remarried since.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! So, you know, I've had a life of peace after that for the most part. But there have been hurdles and challenges along the way. I graduated with my degree when my daughter was 3 years old from Michigan State University. And then I started working in hospitality. Goodness. So worked in hospitality, and then I realized the pay is not that great working at a front desk. And I'm like, this is a struggle. So I followed through with my dream to go to law school.
Yay.
Went to law school and realized in 2 terms I had doubled my student loan debt, and I had no idea how I was going to pay for the next 2 years. So I stopped and I said, okay, I'm going to come back to this at some other time. My daughter was 5, and I decided, you know what? I can always go back to law school, but I can't be a mom again. I can't relive that portion of my life. So I decided I was going to put her first. And, you know, some people would say, oh, that's naive, that's childish, but I'm a loving mom. Anybody can tell you I love my kids, right? So we decided,
Yeah, I'm like, that's your responsibility. You have kids because you're not number one anymore. Your child is. It's a responsibility. You're raising a human. It's a project, like Sadhguru says, for the next 20 years of your life.
The rest of your life.
You created
We never stop wanting or needing our parents in our lives. We always look for that healthy relationship with our parents and
it's like you
as guidance.
Yeah, you brought the child into the world. It's your responsibility. It's not about you anymore.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So whoever says that, it's like you're not fit to. I mean, people will argue, but it's like you brought the child into the world, and you want to live as if like my life can't stop. It needs to, because the child needs you, and if you don't, then why do you have a child? Like you shouldn't be having a child. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yes. So yeah, I mean, you know, loving your kids is more than just providing for them. And I think that might tie back to my childhood of knowing that my biological father didn't make the effort. So the last time I remember seeing him alive, I was 4. And the last time I spoke to him on the phone was when I was 15, going to court, and him saying, "Why are you changing your last name?" And my response to him was, "Well, why are you calling me now? Like, all of these years you could have called to say something or show up on the doorstep, you know," but it didn't happen. So we moved forward with changing my last name and me being adopted.
So Brooke wasn't your name?
No.
Okay. What was your name?
So yeah, I actually don't use my last name on social media. So yeah.
I just did.
No, that's not my last name.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Brooke is actually my middle name.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. But the reason why I don't, I'll get to the reason why I don't. So cut to the chase, where I really had some soul searching to do was after I decided I was going to move to LA. Okay. So me and my daughter, she's 6 years old. I just left law school. I really don't have a lot of money. I got a refund check from taxes and thought that I would be able to survive in LA. So we drove cross country, 3-day trip, me and her. I have a fear of heights. So we drove through the mountains with me having sweaty palms and her in the back looking over a cliff saying, oh, mommy, mommy, are you okay? And I wasn't okay. But of course, you know, as a mom, you're like wiping your palms like, okay, I'm okay. I'm okay. Knuckles just clenched. And I'm like, oh, when is this mountain going to be over? You know, and you're driving for hours. Like, oh my goodness, this is a huge mountain. We'll get through it. So we ended up in LA and we stayed with one of my close friends, Tia, and she was so hospitable. But I started running out of money really quick in LA. And I'm like, I don't have money for daycare. I don't have, you know, almost no money for gas. Like,
dang.
It just was a lot. And trying to find daycare for my daughter at the time was difficult. Like she and we both knew Spanish. I was fluent, but she was raised on Dora. So she knew some Spanish,
but
not enough to have a fully Spanish-speaking babysitter. Okay. And it was down to you're going to have a fully Spanish speaking babysitter. You're going to go to school and, you know, you're going to have to know Spanish and English. And it was crazy. So I decided I was going to move to Arizona.
Oh,
and yeah, so then we moved to Arizona. We were there for almost a year. And that's when the whole like trauma occurred. I was loving life, but ran into a guy that was affiliated with gangs. He was a felon. He was dealing with what they call coyotes. They were human trafficking to and from Mexico. He was admitting that he was into drug dealing and all of these things after he had basically approached me and had assaulted me sexually. And I was learning all of these things about this guy. So it was scary. I don't want to get into too much detail.
No, that's okay.
If he's watching, he knows exactly who he is. If you come for me, then the FBI knows exactly who you are, so don't come for me. But
or me.
Right, don't come for us. And don't make me be a witness for someone else. Or a character reference. So yeah, I mean, it was hard coming back home. My mom, so I was dating someone that was in the military at the time, and I told him that if you don't hear from me over the weekend, something has happened. And and he asked me to explain what was going on, and I told him somebody's in my house or apartment, and he asked me to leave so that I could talk to him, and I did. He had all these instructions for me on how we were going to get me out of the situation. I took a flight home the very next morning, the first flight that was available. My mother picked me up from the airport and had no idea what was going on. But of course, as a mom, she was so happy to see me, and I'm, sitting there thinking, well, you have no idea why I'm home. Luckily, my daughter was visiting for summer break, and she knew that I was coming back. And thank you. She knew that I was coming back. She didn't know for how long. And I ended up staying with my mom. And even my boyfriend at the time had really no idea the depth of what had gone on. One of my friends in Arizona was able to uncover on a conference call with him what had happened to me because I had just shut down. People at work could see that I just wasn't me. And I had no idea if I was going to go back to Arizona. I had no intentions of staying in Michigan. I was thinking to myself, oh my God, it's too freaking cold.
Listen.
Right? It is cold. It's cold here today.
Here too.
And I came back and it was 70 degrees in July, and I was wearing a winter coat because I was used to 100-degree weather in Arizona. So, I went through counseling, and my mom's name is Jackie, and my counselor's name was Jackie.
Wow.
So it was therapeutic in the sense that, I was able to, just relate to someone with the same name as my mom.
Meant
and
to
I
be.
don't know where this lady is now. She was a student at Michigan State University, and she literally held my hand going to get STD testing done. And HIV testing and waiting for the results. A week later, her saying, when they call you, you can call me and I'll be on the phone with you.
It's okay.
people that do that work don't know how powerful they are, how impactful the presence of someone can be.
Yeah.
Just being there for
Like
someone.
angels.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I literally, like, my person that was what I would consider my best friend at the time had told me, well, if you wouldn't have came out here without enough money, then this might not have happened to you. So next time, make sure you have more money. And then eventually my boyfriend ended up breaking up with me, and you know, the conversation was, you're building up walls and I don't want to fight through them anymore. And I didn't think that we would get to that point, but we did. And you know, when you go through trauma, it is hard to do it by yourself, but so often we do. And so often it's a secret. I mean, like, I came home and became a director of sales at a hotel. No one had any idea why I was in Michigan, except I would tell everyone all the time, oh, well, I miss my family. But to sit there and not be able to really tell your truth is hard. Because every time people ask you, well, why did you come back why did you leave Arizona? It's such a beautiful state. And it's like, how do I tell you? Well, it's because I've been sexually assaulted. Then what? You know? But we so often ask people without even thinking that maybe that's a trigger. You know, maybe we're uncovering some trauma. And so that was hard. It was hard to go through all of that. But I just, kept going through all of the counseling, all of the therapy, and then just self-help and self-development, and YouTube and books and CDs and writing and journaling over and over, and having a space where I could sit and be by trees and nature. And I literally had nothing. Like, I came home, Pratibha, with a suitcase of clothes for me and my daughter. That's it. I couldn't bring everything that we had. I couldn't even bring all of the clothes that we had. Like, we literally had just enough. Just enough. But that was enough. And what you realize when you go through something that is very significant is you can start over. I no longer have a fear of losing anything. I have no fear of throwing away a material thing, thinking that it can make or break me. I rode a bike to work as a director of sales. I rode a bike to work, and I could do it again. So.
I need to learn. I need to learn how to ride a bike. Those who don't know, I would love to ride a bike. I know, we have to meet. Yeah. And I just want to say thanks for those tuning in. This is what it's all about. It's about sharing your story, but there's always a little piece where, it can trigger you, or it tells you when you say your story, it tells you where you are in your life, or that it's still significant. And think traumas like that always still will be. Like me and my abortion, like I still shed some tears, and it's like, it's so fresh. Like, it may not be for other people, but you haven't been through it. You know what I mean? Or if you've been through it, you process it differently. It's really none of your business. And something like that. And I'm sure everyone knows, what it is by saying sexual assault and, the R word. So it's like, just if you haven't been through it, you haven't lived it. Like, you know what I mean? Let the person live it how they live it. And that is something that would change the trajectory of someone's life. Like you said, you don't have any fear. You don't care if you lose material. I'm the same way. Like, I moved here, right? I didn't bring everything with me. Or when I came from Thailand and came back, same thing with the suitcase. I still have my suitcase, and it's like just enough. You know what I mean? Like, you don't bring everything, but you bring what you can. It's like things can be bought again, but just to not be attached. Like, it teaches you not to be attached to the items, because life can move on you fast, and it's like you gotta get to safety. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Don't be attached to material things,
Yeah.
but be attached to the outcome. That's what I learned. You know, I chose to be happy again. Like, I literally have a point in the book where I'm like, I have to make a decision. I could cry forever. Like, you know, and
that's right.
You get to a point where you're like, okay, I have to stop though, and I have to choose what I want, and I'm gonna fight for it. So that's why the book is entitled "I Choose Joy." If you read the book, you'll get to a point where you're like, oh, that's the moment.
I want to say the difference between you and I is I don't cry easily. Like, it just doesn't come out for me. I don't know if it's because I've become so resilient. I've been through the therapy. Even when I said, you know, like my eyes would get watery or like just a little bit, but nothing really more than that most of the time. It's very occasional when I cry because it's just how I've molded myself like this.
I'm emotional, I'm passionate, I get angry. I feel all of my feelings. So, you know, when I cry, it's not necessarily that I am sad. Sometimes it's that I'm just so angry. You know, I'm so angry. You know, I can cry, like, you know, you talked about how, you know, the case with Derek Chauvin, the murder of George Floyd. You know, you guys were talking about that earlier, and I mean that type of stuff can get me started, and I will cry. Like, we're still dealing with this stuff. You know, and I will cry about that.
Yeah. I do cry when it's like certain movies and things like that. Like, I'd cry for the other stuff, but I do believe
Grey's Anatomy can get me every week.
Yeah.
Every week. I'm like, oh.
I believe it's a challenge for me to, like, I do feel my feelings like I did recently. And, you know, I'm here in nature, and it's like, I did, you know, feel my feelings, get emotional because I had shared my story with someone I was interviewing. And then I found myself in looking into nature quiet, and it just got emotional by itself because I may not give myself enough time to do that. But I also don't stay in that space. I'm like, okay, let's go inside. I got to continue the rest of my day. You know what I mean? But I don't want to go back to that. You're not supposed to live in that place, live from that place. That's not what I want to do. I acknowledge that, okay, I had my abortion. You know, my twin children aren't here. But it was kind of like a beautiful cry, more of like a release that this is what my life is now. This is the present, and that's done. Like, it's gone. Nothing can be changed from what it was. It's only, we're only controlling the now.
Right. And when you cry, you're not crying to change.
It's just a release.
Yeah.
There's overwhelm, there's stress, there's, you know, especially me now, you know, here on my own, like I was telling you, like, there's anxiousness. Not that I have like high anxiety or I'm hyperventilating, but an anxiousness where you don't know your next steps, and it's like you're not supposed to know the how. You just trust yourself, have faith, but not blind faith, like we learn, like have a plan. And I'm learning to depend just solely on myself. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Parents is just me, and it's like, but at the same time, like, we all come with so much, right? Like, you're raising a daughter, you're a single mom, you have 2 daughters. For those who don't know, it's like London is 4.
Raising 2 daughters, but she's going to be 4, but I've also had loss. You know, prior to London, I was 16 weeks pregnant and went to a doctor's appointment after arguing with London's dad. And we're sitting there, and the doctor is trying to do an ultrasound, and we're talking about, oh my gosh, look at the baby's arms and legs, and oh, the baby has your head. And then the doctor says, excuse me, and leaves the room, and then brings back an ultrasound tech. And then the ultrasound tech and him leave the room. And then they come back, and they're like, we're sorry to tell you that we think that your baby has died. And it was totally unexpected, you know. And then we have another doctor come in and do the ultrasound again, and then they run a special cardiac test. And I mean, I had emergency surgery going in for a checkup.
Did you believe them? Like, you know, doctors may not always be 100%. Like, are they sure?
They were sure. I called my mom because my mom was a retired x-ray tech. And whenever I have a medical concern, I call my mom, and I told her what was going on. And she said, well, make sure that you get multiple opinions. But we had multiple opinions. And at that point it was, either you go home and you have the possibility of hemorrhaging, or you can have it in a controlled situation and we'll take it out for you. The problem with that for me was I didn't get to see that baby. I didn't get to know, like, we were about to find out if it was a boy or a girl and what we were going to name it. And, that was hard to be able to leave the hospital after a doctor's appointment that to me like went totally wrong and totally unexpected, And so,
yeah.
Yeah. It's just crazy. It's a horrible feeling to have such a feeling of loss. So, I mean, even for that, I was not okay. So, I've been through some stuff. I don't tell everybody everything, right?
Yeah.
But I've been through more than what people probably realize.
Yeah. I don't know if Miss Bev knew, but she said, "Oh gosh." And what I was gonna say is, I believe I told you this before, but it's like God was protecting you from even more visual trauma. You didn't see the sex of the baby. You didn't see. That's good. You know what I mean? It's like you don't want to hold that in your mind.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like whenever I have like medical stuff done, I always read the reports, and so after the surgery, they told me my blood pressure was high. I lost a lot of blood. And I remember hearing them faintly saying, like, we almost lost her.
Dear God.
But when I read the report, the hardest thing for me was hearing about babies' body parts in pieces. Like, we've recovered one arm, one leg, And
I would not want to read that.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Remember, Kristin, you and I, thanks for those tuning in. It's a sensitive topic, but remember the time when we said we would discuss abortion and people's opinions and things? And, I was finally able, because I had a, I don't know what it's called, a D and something. A
DNC, dilation and curettage. Yeah.
I believe so. So when I had that done, I didn't check what they do during it. I don't want to see the graphics.
Yeah.
Because the graphics of abortion, they show like you're like the worst person ever. And it's like, that's not good for healing. And I was in therapy and I did not do that. And, I finally had the courage, and this takes balls, no guts, no glory, to watch what they do, and literally said how they crunch, the baby's head to take it out. So I'm like, okay, it was 15 minutes. I had this procedure and both of my children were taken out piece by piece. So I was like, okay, I can see the practicality of it. Like I seen a movie and stuff of how they take it out. I'm like, is there another way? But I'm just, the thing is, it's like a man eat man world out here. It's like animals eat people, people eat animals. It's like, I don't know. I'm very like scientific and practical about it. And it's like, I can see that like an abortion is an abortion. It's like you're getting, disposing of a life. And I can understand all the spiritual aspects and everything, but it's like, it's pretty, the people who perform it, right? It's normal for them. It's pretty basic. It's a part of life. And that's just the truth. Like we eat animals, right? Like we're disposing of animals. It's a part of life. What is the difference? It's like, that's the kind of person I am. It's like, it's a human life. Okay, that's an animal life. Like they all have a heartbeat. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're eating flesh and you have something to say about abortion, like, you know what I mean? I don't really care what you have to say. But the whole point is it's just a practical thing that's done. Just like we have any other surgery and everything like that. And that's just the way I look at it. And that's what works for me. That's just really what it is, though. Everything we do in life is just what we do. You know what I mean? It's how we get things done. Like that was an issue, right? You got to resolve. You feel relief. Okay, that was part of your life. You're out of it now. Someone had a heart attack. Okay, we take care of that. You're out of it now. There's really no difference. You're just helping the human restore their life. That makes sense?
Yeah, I understand that viewpoint.
Like, it's just practical. Like, what else are you supposed to do? You know what I mean? You're in that situation. Like, that is just the only way to get it out.
We could even say to people, Pratibha, that don't believe in abortion, then why do we not value human life? Why is police brutality such an issue?
Oh, there you go. Thanks for bringing that up.
Why would we have an issue with saying what the actions that a police officer may take in taking a life, that is wrong? Because to me, that is wrong too, if you say that abortion is wrong.
Thanks for saying that, because Miss Tanika and I were just talking about that. The fact that, she was a Black woman, like she came on before you, and the things they did to her, they wouldn't handcuff a white woman and take her away from her kids, all from a miscommunication. And that's not even what, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, wow. And take her to a psychotic place and put it on her record and things. Like, would it go that far with a white person? Just, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Wow.
And not taking her seriously, not listening to her 4 kids, but yeah. So I want to bring it back to you, and I want to bring it back to you and, your daughter now. I don't know if you want me to say her name.
Which one?
Small one.
Oh, my Lundy.
Oh, yeah. The Fergie song. That means completely something else in my language. Or maybe not. Anyway, I think it's like a curse or something gross. Anyway, so how's that going for you? It's like, do you feel therapy in like raising her? Is it like therapeutic for you to raise her?
I wouldn't say like therapeutic, but it gives me purpose. I think that we have a lot of different purposes in life, and she is one for me, just like her older sister is one for me. But I think, so as you know, her father died when she was 1. And for me, it's just amazing to see so much of him in her, and, even so much of myself. Because for 40 days, I was in the hospital with preeclampsia with her when I was pregnant. And they thought that I would have a seizure or a stroke. And they prepared for that every day. I went through a lot of testing, a lot of ultrasounds. They were concerned about her being born early. And hello to all of my other I3 moms with Henry Ford Hospital, if you're watching. I made some really great friends. We supported each other through all of that. And, some of them, their babies had a NICU experience. Luckily, London did not. She was born at 4 pounds, 13 ounces, fully able to breathe and eat on her own. If she had not been able to do that, or not been as big as she was, then she would have been in NICU. So I was grateful for that. But when her father died, it was kind of bittersweet. I get to raise her without a court being involved. I get to raise her without anyone, interfering in what I feel is best for her. But at the same time, she's missing out on knowing her biological father. So it kind of brings me back to the feelings that I had as a child, is my fear for her. I don't want her to feel like there's, and I know she won't, that there's anything wrong with her. Her father died, so there's really a difference. Sorry, it's a little windy here. But there's a difference when a father chooses not to be in a child's life versus he cannot be in the child's life. So I know that for her, it's going to be so much easier to go to school and say, my dad died when I was a baby, versus why is your daddy not here? And I don't know. So, or making up something. He lives far away.
I want to share also, you did have a lot of loss and you've been through a lot of things. That's why we're connected.
Yeah.
And that's why we're close. And do you want to share that also, with Chelsea's dad as well?
Yeah. I mean, with Chelsea's dad, so emotional, verbal abuse during our marriage. We divorced when she was a baby. She was 1 when the divorce was final. And she grew up with her dad her that side of the family in her life. So we made sure, like, he grew up without his father, his biological father. So we have very similar story. He was raised with his stepfather and, you know, his sister, his mom.
Look at that. We attract what we are.
Right. Yeah. I am great. I am healthy. I am whole now.
And you and I attract because we're in that overcoming space.
Yes.
I wanna
but he has since passed away. And so that's I think the challenge that we're going through now, with her and going through that grieving process. So yeah.
With London
and Chelsea.
Yeah.
And with Chelsea, it's doubly hard because she's lost London's father, who was a father figure to her. She's lost her father. So, yeah. We're freezing. No, I'm just kidding.
But you're there now. I didn't hear that.
But yeah, we're going through loss.
Yeah. Joanna said overcoming us. Thanks for tuning in, Joe.
Yes.
Jojo. And I want to get into, you know, about you spoke on Les Brown's summit. You know, you certified with Eric Thomas. Like, do you feel empowered? Like, how do you feel? You feel like it's your time?
Girl, it's been my time. It's been my time. So, working in hospitality, I was always, when I came back from Arizona, I was always in leadership. And that's where I really honed my skills of leading and being a voice for the business, the face of a business, working in sales. I was the go-to person here in Lansing when, you know, the news would come and say, okay, we have an issue coming up, and, you know, marijuana is about to be legal in Michigan. What does your company think? And I'm like, well, I'll talk about that. Or if it was homecoming, I never shied away from the camera, and I was comfortable being that spokesperson, if you will.
Tell us what you're doing now.
Now,
yeah,
so I have a book. I have the book, I Choose Joy. I have a resilience course where I'm working with clients to overcome their trauma so that they can live the life that they deserve. I've taken the skills that I've learned from Les Brown, from as far as speaking. I have a summit coming up called the Comeback Champion Summit, June 15th through the 19th.
Right.
Into that, get your tickets and register so we can send you all kinds of reminders. We'll have some power speeches that will be released on a weekly basis. So I plan on fully participating with that so that people will understand who I am and a little bit more about me as we get to June.
Oh my God.
I've done a lot. Yeah, I feel empowered. Look, I've literally been on Zoom calls and phone calls with Les Brown. Zoom calls with Eric Thomas. Zoom calls and phone calls with John Tallarico.
Yeah.
Zoom calls and phone calls with Michael Baptiste. Michael Baptiste knows there is something that I am waiting to say to him, and I am looking forward to that day. He knows exactly what I mean. I cannot wait. So
I can't wait to know. Will I know?
You will know. You will know. You will hear it. When I say it, you'll know exactly. Yeah. So
oh my God. It's like a secret.
No, it's not a secret. It's not
like news.
So let me just plug him, okay? Michael Baptiste is the truth. Protiba told me about Michael Baptiste. Michael Baptiste helps you take your dream and make it a reality.
Damn right.
From step 1 through whatever step is your end result. And he gives you all of the tools and resources in order to do so. I mean, from naming a business, getting the DBA, to, you know, all of the proper paperwork, to logos and branding and business cards, to funnels, and
he's a giver.
Networking. Oh my gosh. Michael
tonight
over deliver that.
Please. We need to do it one more time. I want to send this clip to him.
Ready?
You go ahead. You started. Yeah. Shout out
Michael over deliver that
peace. We freaking love you. Oh my God.
Do.
Our lives are not the same. It's emotional. I sent him a message recently, like a long paragraph, that my life wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for Michael Baptiste.
And what is his
I could cry.
His quote at the end of every time he talks to you is take all out massive action, take all out massive action, take all out massive action. And when you do, it changes your life. And it's the same thing that we've heard over and over. But Michael breaks it down in a way, and this is exactly what I was saying I would eventually say. Michael breaks it down in a way that it's impactful and powerful. And here it goes. This is exactly what I told him I was going to say one day and mean it. And I probably will keep saying it.
Oh my God.
I've worked with Les Brown, and he's impacted my life significantly. I've worked with Eric Thomas, and he's impacted my life significantly. I've worked with John Tallarico, and he's impacted my mindset and my life significantly. But I worked with Michael Baptiste.
Oh my God.
And he was the most impactful of all.
Yes.
He gave me the tools and the resources. No one has impacted my life as much as Michael Baptiste.
Yes.
So there you go, Michael. I told you one day I was going to say it. Boom. Boom. There you go. And I'm going to continue to say it. I mean, I haven't even gotten through all of the material that he's provided for me. You know, it's there, and he has set me on a path of how to get to where I need to be. So thank you, Joanna. But yeah, so that's the other piece of this, right? So thank you.
I want to the scrolling banner. But
that's the thing.
And Michael Baptiste is
that's the thing though. Like, okay, you can go through trauma, you can go through drama,
he's been
through many things in life, but ultimately, your purpose and passion should fuel you, and you should propel yourself forward professionally. And that's what I help people do. I want people to have the confidence that I had when I was going through some of the hardest times in my life. That's all. That is it. So, yeah.
I just feel personally, I can't believe I'm out here in this nature. We're talking about this. We never met in person yet. I just want to give a hug. We're all going to meet. I just feel so like, I'm sitting out here. It's like I'm doing this all day. And, like you said, people who don't have a job right now, like, what are you doing, right? It's like, this is what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And this makes a difference because this fills you up from the inside. Yeah, it's not like monetization, but it's like you learn so much and it makes your day. You know what I mean? And it's like, we gave a shout out to him before this. I heard Tanika's story. It's like, this is like more than enough. Like, this is value right here. It's not a job, but like, that's whatever. Like, this is like what life's about, sharing stories and like meeting people. That's what love, like, you know what I mean? That's what you live for. You die, you're going to think about these people. You ain't going to think about no damn job. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
This is so like...
Let me tell you a story. Yeah. This is what, so leaving my last job, okay?
Yeah.
Leaving my last job. I had a time where my last job, I know I wasn't productive. I wasn't as productive as I could have been. Mm-hmm. And it was because of London's father passing away. And I would tell people, I don't feel like I'm living with purpose. Like I'm doing my job. I'm selling hotel rooms.
Yeah.
But
what the hell?
Aligning with me. Like, how impactful am I?
Yeah.
In people's lives, unless I'm talking to them one-on-one. So London's father was a salesperson too. I mean, he motivated me to really start to think big about what do I want financially? What do I want freedom-wise? And when I say freedom wise, I mean as far as time. You know, I got to watch him work for a very large corporation and work from home where I had to go into the office. And I got to watch him bring in commission checks that were 3 times my monthly salary.
Wow.
9 times my monthly salary. And I was looking forward to a small 4-digit bonus check, right? So he ended up going to work on a Wednesday, and he worked from 9 to 5 at a sales job. I don't know if he liked that new job, but he did it. And I, as his executor, I know that it was decent money, right? It was great money, but I don't know if it was really worth it for him. At 5 o'clock, he got on his motorcycle and he was about to go home. Before he turned out into traffic, he fell over. A line of cars were behind him, and they were ready to go home too. They're wondering why he's not going. How did he fall over? The car behind him parks, and everyone has to wait. As people run up this hill to turn onto the main street to go home, they find that he's dead. He has no pulse. He had a heart attack and died on a Wednesday after work. For me, the moral of the story is every single moment of your life, you should do something that you love. Don't waste any minute doing something that is just okay or that just pays the bills, because even that may be your last moment. Live your life with vigor, live your purpose, live your passion. That's what I learned from that.
Wow. And they do say, you know, the most heart attacks happen on Monday mornings, right? But even in general, like, yeah, he's bringing in the checks, but the stress, though, you know what I mean? Like, it's not about corporate jobs. It's not about, that's not what life is about. At the end of the day, everybody just wants peace, you know, and meditation. That's why people travel to India and different places to find themselves, when you don't need to go anywhere to travel to find yourself. You can just sit still and just be here with yourself. And most people can't even do that. It's a skill you have to master. But the thing is, at the end of the day, people usually retire or, you know, travel to other countries and nature. And these are the things that truly matter. Like, that's what life is. Like, we're in this world. Like, we have a system like of work, like jobs and things, but that's not fulfilling. Like, I mean, maybe to some people.
But even if you decide that you want a 9 to 5 job, make sure you're doing the job that you really feel like you have a purpose and passion to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying don't work.
Yeah.
It might be temporary, but just know that might be your last moment. So if you had to choose between a job that you could potentially love, that pays you a little bit less, but
like
you can survive off of it, versus something that pays you excellent pay, but you know you're going to be stressed out, then you have a decision to make. Because if it came down to your last moment, where would you want to be?
Kristin Brooke.
This is real. We're just being real.
It is real. But I was saying, like a teacher, you know, I was told, I'm too emotional to be a teacher. I was told, oh, you don't get paid a lot and this and that. But like, kids love me. Like, I love kids. And this is, you know, Chai Together. Like, this is for the kids too. Like, you know what I mean? Like when I had my suicide prevention project in India, like, I don't know if people know that because it's done now, but like, I continue on so I can give back to kids more, like, you know, through this. And yeah, you know, like teachers don't get paid a lot. A lot of professions don't get paid as they should, like nannies and things, but you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you have a passion for it and you know you're impacting lives,
you
know, it kind of, we are living and writing our obituary for our family when we leave.
Woo, girl.
Done it several times. Like, the things that go on an obituary, like your family, when you die, they're looking for things to be proud of you. You know, they want to be able to say, this is what she did. This is what he did. This is what they lived for. This is what defined them. And I'm going to have to leave soon. I think it's about to rain. I'm like, is it literally raining? I think it is raining.
I don't know if you guys, a fresh green leaf just fell on the deck.
I wish. We have gray
Where's it?
skies here in Michigan.
Can't see. Oh.
I see it. I see it.
Where's it at?
Oh, yep, there it is.
Where? Is there? I can't see it. Anyway, how beautiful. Miss Bev says she didn't know the depth of her life's trauma, your life's trauma. You know,
Thank you,
Chris,
Beverly.
you know, there's things about my life, like the details, like I haven't, you know how like Les didn't share until his book that he slept in the garbage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's like life things like that that have happened to me, or like we possibly talked about, but it's like the environments I had to live in, or things you have to just get through. And it's like, that's not something that's on top of your mind. You know what I mean? Because it's just so disgusting and things. And it's like, that's to put in a book, not like talk about. You don't.
And
You
even
know,
then, there's things that you just don't talk about. You know.
it's just awful.
You know. Do I want to bring up all of my days in college, you know, where maybe I wasn't the best person that I should have been? If you knew me then you know. But otherwise, I am who I am now.
I am
a lot of days that got me to who I am now.
I love who I am. Yo, this is great. I love Georgia. I love being here with you. And so, you know, before we wrap it up, you know, so I'm not going back for my graduation. So we will have to meet and do a graduation.
All right.
We'll talk about that another time. You know, it's interesting. There's like a hall here for graduation. I remember Miss Wayuko was driving past it, and I was like, you know, from our TIR, and I was like a hall, like, but yeah, we'll talk about that another time. But you know, so your book is I Choose Joy, and
An Overcomer's Guide Through a Secret Journey.
But
not
wait
in,
a minute.
Not around. You got to go through it. Yeah.
Do we release who the forward is by yet or no?
Not yet, but we can say that it is a big name.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. So, yeah.
The forward is by a big name. We're going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
And pants drop like, oh my God.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge.
People are probably like, what is she
doing?
doing?
The goal is to impact millions, if not billions of lives. If you know someone that has gone through sexual assault, any kind of emotional, physical trauma, this book will just let them know that they are not alone, and it helps them understand that they can too get through it. Yes, she is.
I'm laughing because I'm out here outside on the deck, like, yeah, they're like, what the hell is this girl doing? Like, who's screaming out here? It's like, I'm free! Free Spirit Fly. That's my name. That's actually I go by that, Miss Bev, like on Instagram. That's been my name since I was younger. I knew who I was. I'm always so free. Like, I don't care what people think. You know what I mean? If I cared, maybe I would have made better choices.
No, you are who you are. You made the choices that you made.
I love this. So tell us more about your resiliency course before we wrap up. Tell us more about all that, you know, what you're doing, how people work with you.
There's a resiliency course series, right? First, there's Journey Through Trauma, and that is the initial course. We talk about what trauma is, what it looks like, what are triggers, how to get through those, resources and options on going through trauma or a difficult experience. And then from there are topics on betrayal, rebuilding trust, building confidence, becoming more professional. And really the key to that first one though is huge. It's a survey that I've learned how to use with Eric Thomas, E.T., the hip hop preacher. Yeah. And it helps people to understand what their personality is like now, right now, so that they can understand how to communicate with people, what their strengths are. And then also it allows you to tell people how to talk to you.
That's right. Boundaries.
So you're receptive to things. Yes. And you can put your boundaries up. This is who I am. This is what I expect. And this is how I communicate. And then there's no miscommunication
That's
because
right.
you're able to explain to someone how you see the world and you already know how you're perceived. So
Wow.
it's huge. Yeah. It's a game changer.
Aw. Who are you talking about, Miss Bev? Kristen? This is gonna be amazing. Everything.
Yeah.
How about you? I think this is just the beginning for us all. Whether in Power Voice or people just listening, it's like wherever you are in life, like, you know, we're so in our routine of doing things a certain way or being in a career for so long. Like you can, you know, get that divorce, you can get the new car, you can do whatever you want to do, but you're so set in that comfort. Like, no, I bought this house, I've lived here all my life, my wife, you know,
People
even though.
are comfortable being uncomfortable.
Thank you. There you
But they
go.
need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable in a different way.
True. I've been uncomfortable since I came out to Georgia by myself. I'm like, I don't know.
Yes.
But we will find
that,
out.
That fear hold us back, thinking, oh, that's not, you know, you're comfortable with the negative, but you have to become comfortable with the alternative.
Talking about me.
That's where growth comes from.
Okay. Yeah, and I wanted to say, you know, through TIR, working with John Tellerica and Urina as well, and yeah, that created my paradigm shift, my money paradigm, and then my environmental. Those were my two obstacles. You know, I kept going back to being a victim of my environment, you know, domestic violence and abuse and things. It's like, I don't have to live like that.
No,
and
you have to learn to let it go.
Once again, thanks for
those.
Yeah. Thanks for those tuning in. I'll say it again. It's like when I saw my parents be abusive to one another, well, like one of my parents be abusive to the other parent, and, you know, my mom has mental illness, and when I saw that, it created a shift, and I took whatever money I had, and I left that situation because I just believed in myself, and I jumped and had faith, and I said, I have chaitogether. That's more than enough, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to go with it. That's what entrepreneurs do. That's what billionaires do. That's that thinking, like Tyler Perry, right?
Yep.
Oh my God. I love Tyler Perry. Both his parents were abusive, you know what I mean? And abusers and stuff. And, you know, he made something of himself, and he had that one person, the blind guy, if you know about him, like that was his Mr. Washington, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that gentleman kept him going, and he saw Candy, Tyler Perry and stuff. And then, you know, he failed for like 7 years to get his show up.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's like, he always questions why. He always asks people why. You know, why is that way? And I started questioning things, why, about my loans, about things people say, documents, like, why is this way? What are your guidelines? You got to ask people questions because they think you're not smart enough to know. Oh, no one's going to question you. You're just going to get this signed off, things like that. It's like, no, I'm going to question everything now because I'm on my own. Like, this is my life. I take responsibility, but things were so.
Let's talk about that word real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
You told me about Sadhguru. And remember, I had a really hard time with, you know, wherever you find yourself, you are responsible. That was a hard thing for me to accept, that I was responsible for wherever I found myself. Sadhguru broke it down and said, responsible means that you are able to respond, not that you are taking authority over a situation and that what came towards you is your responsibility. But you are able to respond. So if anybody is going through something, that was key for me to say, yes, in wherever I find myself, I am responsible, meaning I am able. I'm able to respond.
Yes.
Looking at that in a totally different way.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll be responsible for my sexual assault because I am able to respond, and this is how I'm responding. I'm speaking out. I'm changing lives. I'm partnering with Rain. I am more than a survivor. I am more than a conqueror. I am a warrior. I will use my words as my power. My voice is my power, and I will fight.
Woo! Bring it home.
I'm not backing down.
Yo, I fucking love it. I started cursing on my show. You know what? It's my show. It's my show. I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
You want to tell the people where they could follow you and your website and Instagrams and your own podcast? We didn't even get to that.
We did not. And we have 4 episodes that are going to be released soon. It's called The Coeur. The podcast is called The Coeur. You can find more about that on my website at kristinbrooke.com, KristinBrooke.com. On Instagram and Facebook, you can find me by typing in Kristin Brooke Official. Official is spelled OFFICIAL. Kristin Brooke Official on Instagram and Facebook. You can also find me on Twitter. It's Beauty K Brooke. Yeah, and I'm on TikTok as well. I think it's Kristin Brooke Official.
I need to get TikTok. I don't have it, but I will be bomb. I'll be like, what up? What up?
Right? I'm working on it. That's where I show my age because I only have like 1 post, but it'll take me back to my website.
I should get on TikTok, Kristin.
We should do something and like collaborate on TikTok. Like maybe I'll like throw something over to you. Oh wait, sorry, wrong way. Throw it over to you.
My heart. That is so cool. That's so cool. So, okay, www.kristinbrooke.com. That's where they can find your book, podcast. And tell us more about The Coeur, the spelling of your podcast.
Yes, ma'am. So The Coeur means the heart in French. It's spelled THE, the, and then Coeur, COEUR. You'll notice in the logo that it has an apple with a heart. The meaning is in French is heart, but it sounds like an apple here in English. So The Coeur. We get to the core or the heart of matters in that inspirational podcast.
Is this spelled right?
No, COEUR.
COEUR.
Yes. And it's on all platforms.
Wow.
You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor.fm.
That's right, baby.
All platforms. There are a ton of podcast platforms.
So amazing.
I look forward to hearing from everybody. Send me a message on my website. You can send me a quick message if you are looking for someone to help you through trauma. Reach out to me. If it's not me, then I can find a resource for you in your local area, help you through it.
I love it. And thanks for sharing that about Sadhguru because he's a game changer.
Yes,
Did you do the engineering course yet?
I did. I completed that. And yeah. At the end, there's the song where it talks about thank you. And it's just... It's so real.
I just want to be all around him all the time.
Yeah, he's very enlightened, and I really enjoy listening to him.
Well, we
enjoyed it real.
We enjoyed listening to you today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Pratibha. You are amazing. Keep doing the work that you're doing. I really appreciate it. I'm ready for my mug, too.
I know. You gotta buy it. We'll talk about that. So let me end this live. Thank you, everybody. And I will be back at 3 p.m. today. So we're doing 4 live today because
keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Paparazzi all over.
We love it.
Red carpet. I see myself. Yeah, JoJo got her mug.
Yeah, you sold out when I wanted mine.
Yeah.
All right. I'm a little jealous.
I'm too funny. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in and do replay this episode. Thank you.
Thank you.